Welcome back to a new year of Tech Tuesday. For those of you who don't know what this is a bi-monthly video series that Chris Koenig and I started last year for teachers to learn about technology tools and how to integrate them into lessons. As Chris's schedule has gotten increasingly busier, I have taken over the video series, and it's changed formats a few times, but I think I am finally on a format that I really like, and I hope that you also enjoy it as well. In this week's episode, we're talking about Google Drawings, and I think a lot of people don't really know how to use it because they don't know how to use drawing programs. It's one of Google's most overlooked products because of that reason, but it's a really handy tool when you get to know how to use it. One of the best ways and easiest ways that you can implement Google Drawings into lessons is by using it as a graphic organizer. If you think about it, a mind map would be a great thing to use, and it's something that students can collaborate on as well. Students can share Google Drawings just like they do any of the other Google products. It's also a great tool for diagrams or for labeling. Social studies, if you're doing maps and you have to label the regions of Virginia, great way to do that. You can create text boxes and have students move text boxes over the points identifying the different regions. Or for science, if you need students to label something like plant cells or animal cells, another great tool. It's also really good for matching activities. You can either have students move words around or draw lines matching definitions and terms together. Or you could do smaller things like crop images or have students create custom word art. Let's jump in and create a file. You're going to first go to Google Drive and click on the New button, then down to More and over to Google Drawings. And because this is in a shared folder, I'm just going to go ahead and click Create and Share.
And when you first open up Google Drawings, it's going to have this transparent background, which is great because you don't really need to worry about the background if you don't want to. You could add a background in. If I go to background and then pick a color, it will automatically put in that color choice for me. Or if I just wanted to insert an image, I can go over to Insert Image, and I can just do a quick search in Google Drive for an image. Okay, and I'm going to select this apple, and then I can always resize the image as well, and then here I can center it. You'll also see that there's alignment, so I just have that red line right there, so it also will line it up for me. So if I'm looking vertically or horizontally, it'll help me when I'm trying to line up images and text together. So here I just want the image, and maybe I just want the white background, and I don't even need to do that. If I want to use this as an image, I can then go to File, Download as a JPEG, and it will open up as just a JPEG file with a white background. So that's what's really nice about having that transparent background. So let's get to know some of the tools that you can use. You have all of the tabs up at the top just like you would in any other Google document, but I really want to focus on these right here in the toolbar. So you have your select tool. Anytime that you use one of these tools, and when you're finished, you're going to want to go back to the select tool. Otherwise, you're going to stay on the tool that you had previously selected. The line tool is great. So like what I said with labeling a map or plant cells, you could have students draw a line, or you could draw a line that way and then have students move words to put into that line, or you could even draw a box and then have students move words into a box. Or if you're trying to have students draw a line to connect things or point out things, the line tool would be really good. You can also click on the drop down arrow and then choose different types of lines or arrows. The curve tool we recently just used in Mr. Lumpkin's classes when we were trying to have students tell us about the path of different hurricanes. This is great because every single time I click, I can move this around. So this was really great for creating different paths. And then if you double click, it will actually get out of that. So like I said, I'm still in that line tool and I'm done with it. So I want to go back and choose my arrow tool. Now I can do different things with any of the objects that I put on this canvas area. If I click on the lines, I get some other tools in my toolbar, or if I click on the image of the apple, I have some additional tools as well. So let's look at the image of the apple real quick. Here I can crop the image. So if I wanted to take some of it out, I can. And so then I only see a portion of it because I've cropped it. If I wanted to get that back, all I have to do is click that crop icon again and then just take it back, or you could click the undo button. You also have some image options, so you could recolor something. Let's say I want to just have a green apple. I could do that. I can also play with the transparency a little bit. And this can come in handy when you're trying to layer different things on top of each other. You may want something that isn't quite so solid and you can see through it. This is great for that. Okay, so I'm just gonna reset that real quick. Okay, then if I click on my line tool here, I have some different options for the line. I can change the color of the line. I can also change the thickness of the line. So let's make it 8 point there. I could also change it to being from a solid to something that's more like dashes. I can also change the start and the end point, which I think is really good for math. If you're doing rays and you want to make sure that students have the direction of which way the ray is going, you can change the end point of that line. So here I've made it now an arrow, or I can click on the other side and maybe I need it to be an open circle. You could do that. So lots of different options there. I think the trickiest part for people who haven't really used a drawing program before is thinking about how you want things to be laid out. If you're just kind of doing things on the fly, sometimes it can be tricky to put things in the right order. And what I mean by that is, let's take this apple here, and then I want to put a box around the apple. So I've already put my apple in, and then I'm going to put the box in later. And then it comes, okay, how do I get the box behind the apple without having to put the box in first? So if I right click on top of that box and go to order, I can send it to the back, and now the box is behind the apple and the apple is now on top of the box. This is also really important to do with text. If you decide you want text and then later on decide that you need to have a box around it to define the maybe a word bank or the boundaries of that text, this is a great way to do that too. You can just reverse the order or change the order up. Another great thing to know is grouping. Let's say I wanted to have this apple and this box move together as one. It could be that maybe you have a list of items on one side and pictures of something on the other side, and you want to physically either move the text over to the pictures or have the pictures move to the text to match up concepts. It would be nice to have them all physically move as one. So here, if I just click on the apple, and then if I hold down my control key and click on the other item, that will grab both of them, and then I can right click and go down to group. That will put them together. So when I move them, they move together as one. Another way that you could do this, I hit undo real quick, to group them or highlight, is to just drag your mouse around both items and then it will grab and highlight both of them, and then you can right click and hit group. You could also go to arrange and hit group that way. If you need to make any edits to either one of them though, you'd have to ungroup them and then make the changes and group them together again. If you're looking for some more guidance on how to use Google Drawings for graphic organizers, I have a folder in Google Drive. The link will be in the bottom of the YouTube link, so it will be down in the details section of YouTube. I will put the shared link to all of these different graphic organizers that I have either collected or created based on something else that I have seen as a graphic organizer and put it into Google Drawings. There's quite a bit. And don't worry about messing anything up. I do have a backup of this. But I think the best thing to do would be to click into one of the graphic organizers and then go ahead and go to File and make a copy if you find one that you would like to use with classes. Our app/site spotlight of the episode goes to EduClipper. This is a site that was created by a teacher, and it's very much like Pinterest for teachers. You can find any kind of resource that you want, create a board, and add the resource to the board. You can share boards out with classes or with colleagues, and you can really clip just about anything. I've seen documents on here, PDFs, videos, all kinds of different things. There's also plenty here to search for if you're looking for something for a particular content area as well.
Thanks for watching this week's episode. If you have any questions on Google Drawings or EduClipper, please shoot me an email. I'd be more than happy to work with individuals or even departments on implementing either one of these tools. I'll be back in 2 weeks with a new video. Bye.